The top Republican on the House Armed Services Committee, Mac Thornberry, says this week that it will take until after the November elections to come up with a compromise version of the National Defense Authorization Act. Senator Angus King is the independent senator from Maine. He's co-chair of the Cyberspace Solarium Commission. Senator King, welcome. Thanks for coming on the program. There are a number of amendments on each side of Capitol Hill that your commission recommended. Does this give you extra time to make sure that some of those amendments make it into the final bills, since there won't be a compromise for another couple of months?
Absolutely, Francis. We're certainly going to keep working at it. We have been all summer. We've got about a dozen of our proposals in both bills, and then there's another 6 or 7 in the Senate bill that aren't in the House bill, and another dozen or so in the House bill that aren't in the Senate bill. So we've got some work to do to try to reconcile that. I'm in touch with the leadership of the Senate committee on some of these issues. The biggest one, Francis, that's sort of hanging out there is the National Cyber Director. And I'd be glad to talk to you about that. That's in the House bill. There's a placeholder in the Senate bill, and we're working very hard to persuade our Senate colleagues that this is an important provision, and hopefully that will be in both versions, so it will be in the final bill.
I do want to talk about the National Cyber Director position, Senator King, but set that aside for now. And I understand this might be asking you to choose your favorite children, but are there others of these that you think are more important? Are there some of these that you think are deal killers or that need to happen this year for sure?
Well, I don't know about the latter. I don't think there are any deal killers, but I think the next most important issue that's still not finalized in the bill is what we call continuity of the economy. It's setting up a process to plan for continuity of the economy in the case of a devastating cyber attack. We have plans developed for continuity of government, but what we're suggesting is that it really makes sense to be thinking the unthinkable, which, by the way, the pandemic has taught us to do, and to think about how we would plan getting the economy back on its feet in case of a catastrophic attack on the grid or the financial sector. So that's, I think, right up there with the National Cyber Director in terms of priorities for us to try to get into this bill.
What do you think what's your sense of the momentum for the National Cyber Director position and the kind of person, the kind of response that you're getting for the people who would take that kind of job? I recognize it would be a while until either this administration or another administration would fill that position, but I wonder what your sense is of the momentum around the kind of person that would take that job.
Well, I think first there is momentum around the idea. As I mentioned, it's in the House bill. And recently, we had a very strong letter endorsing the concept from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. And then, interestingly, a week or two ago, another memo endorsing the concept from the Heritage Foundation, which I think hopefully will help move this along. We had a hearing before the Cyber Subcommittee of the Senate Armed Services Committee, Mike Rounds and Joe Manchin. I had the privilege of being a witness for a senator. It's a little uncomfortable to be a witness and have to take questions instead of ask questions, but we went into great depth on the issue, and I hope and believe that we satisfied a lot of the concerns that the majority on the committee have. So we're working toward it. In terms of who it should be, to be honest, haven't really given a great deal of thought to that, except obviously it should be somebody with a deep familiarity with the issues of cyber. I think management ability, because one of the important responsibilities of this new position is to coordinate and generate cooperation among the multiple agencies in the federal government, all of which have cyber responsibilities. That's one of the problems, Francis, is nobody's in charge. It's a hodgepodge of responsibilities and authorities. And so we're looking for somebody who can knock heads, who can work with the other agencies, provide some leadership on this incredibly important issue.
We dug into what that person would do the last time you were on the program, Senator. One thing we didn't get a chance to discuss is what the breadth of what that person would be doing. Would this person be interacting, for example, with General Nakasone at Cyber Command also, with cybersecurity leaders inside the Pentagon also? Or is this someone that you imagine to really be the leader and coordinator among the civilian agencies in government?
No, the areas of responsibility would be across the government, including the Defense Department. Although an important point is this person is not in the chain of command. And this was of grave concern to Senator Rounds, for example, the chair of the Cyber Subcommittee of Armed Services. We're not inserting an extra step. It's still Cyber Command, Secretary of Defense, National Security Advisor, President of the United States. This person is not in that decision-making tree, if you will. However, they would work with those agencies in terms of coordination and cooperation. It's somewhat like the analogy, of course, is to the Director of National Intelligence. We have really good silos. We have really capable people, but they're still separated, and there's not as much communication and coordination as there should be. So, yes, there would be an engagement with the defense-related agencies, but not any control in a command and control sense.
Less than a minute left, Senator King. What did you learn from being a witness that you'll apply next time you're behind the table asking the questions?
Well, to be more merciful, maybe that would be. But you know what, Francis? I don't think I will be. I'm still going to go after them just as I always do, because that's how you learn things. Somebody once said, cross-examination is the greatest instrument for determining the truth ever invented. So I'll keep doing it, even though I was on the receiving end a couple of times this summer.
Senator Angus King, thanks very much as always.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Francis.